he nearly got you.
How you feeling?
Yeah.
You okay?
Yeah, just look over the edge. $37 meters straight down. Yeah, that is rough. Rough as dust. Some might say it's water. So,
Are you
what
going to
happened?
explain how the natural bridge?
No, talk about Paddy. So
Okay,
Paddy,
Stephen.
Paddy Stevens,
No, just Stephen.
Stephen Paddy's.
Paddy was one of the rescuers.
Right.
Jesus Christ.
Right, anyway, Steve-O, as I call him, come for a better vantage point. He come out here on the one evening with his couple of mates, and he clambered down these rocks down here, down, and then he walked down to this shelf. They call this the shelf.
Okay.
They were all looking at him down here, and they saw this gigantic wave come in. It smashed up over the lip there, come right up. It put water under him, so it lifted him up, and it sucked him back along those rocks. So he got really badly scraped and cut as he went, and he got sucked out under the bridge. And then he started. They saw him pop up. His mates ran around and saw him pop up in the water out there, and they watched him as he drifted westward down that way. Started heading out that way, and so the mates ran back towards town to get help, and they happened across a park ranger who knew the whaling company, and they had ships and so on, and the rest is history. And he got saved, and he lived happily ever after. Died the next year of the Spanish flu. But
Did he really?
No, I just made that bit up. That's quite funny.
In the 80s?
Yeah.
Yeah,
it did,
okay.
yeah. Anyway, long story short, happy days. That's the story of old Paddy.
Stephen.
Steve-O.
Oh my God, you make it sound like it's not a real thing, and I shot all of that sideways after
I
the
saw that too.
Why didn't you say something?
I was already up. Is there anything I missed out of that story, Shell, that you know about?
Well, you missed the part where the first mate of the Chains 2, which was the whale chaser that assisted in the 2-hour coordinated effort to save the South Australian tourist, Stephen Matthews. The first mate jumps overboard.
So he was from the boat.
Very dangerous swell out there, in the open ocean
Watery
to
bit.
save Stephen and dragged him back to the boat.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wasn't an important part of the story.
It's
So I
a
was
huge
just
part of the story.
I was more-
Someone put his life on the line.
Yeah, well, I was more looking at the bridge section.
Okay,
yeah.
so how did Natural Bridge come to be?
Well, you can see these fracture lines, these vertical fracture lines. Actually, one you can see from the top of the bridge runs right down the middle here. There are also horizontal fracture lines. You can't see as many, most of them are washed away. But those fracture lines get water pumping into them from the ocean, into those cracks. It turns the rock back into clay. The clay eventually erodes, making bigger cracks, and as the waves keep punching it, the rocks fall away. In this case, the bottom rocks are falling away, which has left this natural bridge, some might call it. But over time, it's going to continue to eat these horizontal cracks, and the rest of the bridge is going to fall down and die, and it won't be there anymore. It'll just be rocks. Yeah, it'll just be rocks at the bottom, and this will be called gap number 2, I would say. Oh,
So
that's
do
how
they
the-
think that there was a
that's how-
natural bridge over there?
No, I don't know if there was a natural. Well, it could have been. It could have just been a cave, and then the roof's just fallen in. But it's the same thing. Yeah, big fracture line right through. You can see down there.
And then obviously it falls in,
And
creating
then
a
you
deep.
can see like there, it falls in. The rocks get broken up as the waves
Yeah.
keep down, and then they get sucked out. So there's a big chunk of rock that's fallen. Anyway, geography by Ben. It's a bit windy.
What's ahead? Checked it out.
I was just seeing if I could put the feet down for you. Welded shut.
We just visited the National Anzac Centre, which uses multimedia, interactive technology and historical artefacts to commemorate the war and tell the stories of the Anzacs. So Albany was the departure point for the first and second military convoys of Australian and New Zealand troops. And they left the harbour on the 1st of November, and then the second convoy left on the 31st of December 1914. So 41,265 troops in total left in the first and second convoys, and statistics tell us that 1 in 3 died in the war, which was just tragic, just so tragic. They chose Albany because of its large, safe harbour, which was able to accommodate so many ships that made up the first and the second convoys. Now, to assist visitors to navigate and interpret the exhibits, on entry you are issued the identity of one of 32 actual servicemen and women, and you can follow their story through the centre, starting with recruitment, through training, and then through the conflict. And then you can learn the fate of your serviceman or woman at the end of the centre, and then how, you know, if your identity was lucky enough to get through the war, how they then managed to assimilate, I suppose, back into regular society after the war.
It's a different way of doing it. Probably the first time I'd seen something like that. Felt a bit like what you'd give a school kid. Here you go, follow this number around the museum.
I liked it, I suppose. Like, yeah, I know, I did really, I thought it was a really good idea. I thought the museum itself was fantastic, and obviously followed the timeline of the First World War. So the centre is open 7 days a week, and it's $25 for an adult admission. And I would highly recommend it, I think. And then you can basically drive or walk the grounds of the Royal Princess Fortress, I think, that we're on. So we've just been up to the Desert Corps Memorial and the Padre White Lookout.
Yep.
You okay?
Heart attack. Just need to change my neck.
The Padre's White Lookout is what is claimed to have been the location of the first ever observance of
a dawn ceremony on Anzac Day in Australia, and that was in 1930 by a rector of a church here who was also an ex-serviceman. So that was an amazing lookout as well.
Good view of the harbours here.
Yeah. The year is 1826, and the British, concerned about French settlement on the continent's west coast, decide to act. Their mission? To establish a military garrison at King George Sound, which is on the southern coast of what was then known as New Holland. And the vessel for this crucial journey? The brig Amity. The brig Amity had been built in Canada in 1816. On November the 9th, 1826, the Amity set sail from Sydney, with not just the crew, but a group of people led by Major Edmund Lockyer, 21 soldiers and 23 convicts, mostly tradesmen and skilled labourers, domestic animals, food crops and building materials. It was a grueling 6-week journey, made more challenging by the rough seas and the heat of the summer. And at just 23 metres long, the journey was incredibly cramped.
We hop on a Boeing to go to London over 24 hours. It's double the length of this thing, and we're only on there for, as I said, 24 hours. Imagine being on this thing for 6 weeks. Oh my God.
On Christmas Day, 1826, after 6 weeks at sea, the Amity finally anchored in the calm waters of the Princess Royal Harbour. And the very next day, Major Edmund Lockyer and his party came ashore and got to work establishing the very first European settlement on the west coast of Australia, which was named Frederickstown, and of course then later changed to Albany. Now unfortunately, the original ship was wrecked off the coast of Tasmania in 1845. Now luckily, all on board survived, but this here is a replica ship which was built in over 1975 to 1976 as part of the 150th celebrations of Albany as a settlement. I'm very interested to go and have a look on board. It's a donation to get onto the top deck, but I think it's $5 for an adult ticket to get onto the below deck for the experience. And I'm excited, even though it's a replica in Ben's mind. Well, it is a replica, but you know what I mean.
Whoa! Turning the rudder.
What am I holding on to now? Nothing.
Jump. It says, watch your head.
It's a huge ass. Watch your head, watch your back on that beam. And there's a thing right behind you. You're not built for small boats.
Easy, you make that look hard.
Is it hard? Watch your head. Watch your head. So we're like 100 meters from the current shoreline, just on the other side of this tiny little dam. But where we're standing is actually the original shoreline that was here when the town was settled. So like in the 1850s, when they started building these buildings, this is where the water line, the bay used to start. But since then, building and roads and jetties and all that, they started to reclaim land and built out that way. How's that?
belly full of lager.
Sun's come out just in time. We just did a walk through the Albany jail.
We did. It was a convict jail built by the convicts for the convicts. Between 1850 and 1868, just under 10,000 convicts were transported on 37 ships from England to WA, and records show that 64 died during the transportation. 275 were incarcerated in the jail. Have a bit of a look around. It's $10 per adult to enter, and you just make your way through the jail. Let's go. So this is what they called the black hole, and there was one time where it held up to 17 convicts. So it was basically an isolation cell, but it's pretty cramped just with the two of us here. So, and then we'll show you what it looks like when the door's shut. Creepy. Imagine 17 people in here. It's insane. They were kept in here for 24 hours.
2 of them died.
While they were in here?
Yeah. Said to be because of asphyxiation, heat exhaustion, or the stress of 17 people. It's only about 2 metres by about 1.2.
How did they toilet?
You don't.
That's insane. Did you go up? Crazy.
Just hanging out in a cell, and oh my god, creepy mannequins everywhere. Why do we need them? They creep me out. Ah, you really got you! Ah, you really got you!
So we're outside of the Patrick Taylor Cottage Museum. Now, we've said before that everywhere we go, these places seem to create their own niche categories of firsts and oldests and biggest and tallest. Here we've found the Albany Hotel, which claims to be the oldest hotel in Western Australia's oldest town. There we go. They've made up their own little sub-niche award.
So it could be 3 weeks old, as long as it's the oldest one here. It gets the banner. Well done.
Well, this one claims to be the oldest surviving dwelling in Western Australia, having been built in, what was it, 1832?
32?
Yeah, 1832. So there we go. Now, we didn't go in it because it costs $6 per person to enter. And we just, I don't know.
I think the outside's going to be the most exciting.
We couldn't quite justify that. Now, we can't claim to be the oldest surviving dwelling in Australia because that belongs to Elizabeth Farm in New South Wales, which I think was built 1730 something or other. So there we go. Comment below if I've got that information wrong.